The COVID-19 pandemic started less than 3 years ago, and it's already very apparent that it drastically changed the social and cultural environment of the world. With most of COVID's effects on the world being obvious day in and day out, it's important to pay attention to its effects that don't share the spotlight as much as it should. The profound effect of the virus on small businesses is one such topic. To find out more about how some small businesses were affected by the pandemic, we sat down with John Teedy, the owner of a small advertising agency. How do you think the pandemic affected small businesses opposed to large corporations?
I believe the pandemic depends on the small business that you're talking about. I think that different categories or sectors were affected differently. But I think as a rule of thumb, large corporations or large businesses are typically more insulated from those types of environmental forces just because of the way they're constructed. They're larger, they have more funding, more dollars to withstand things like the pandemic.
John was correct in saying that different small businesses suffer drastically different consequences from the pandemic. Businesses in the service, leisure, and hospitality industries were disproportionately disrupted by the pandemic as they rely heavily on travel and human interaction. Furthermore, 61% of businesses in the hospitality industries are considered small businesses, the third highest portion of all sectors. Even as the country returns to a sense of normalcy, there are around 3.4 million less Americans working today than right before the pandemic. These effects aren't just felt by small business owners, but the employees too. How do you think the experience of working at a small business differed from the experience of running a small business during the pandemic?
I think for me, and in terms of our small business, a lot of our clients were healthcare or health insurance based, so we didn't really lose momentum. We were able to pick up, go home, and work pretty seamlessly. So other than just kind of day-to-day learning to communicate with one another, learning new ways to communicate with clients, and kind of different aspects of the routine, we didn't see kind of as much of an impact that I would think a business owner would in terms of really thinking about projecting risks or potential cutbacks and how it would affect businesses as a whole and the emotional aspect of the employees.